Hey everybody, Kozora from SteelersDepot.com doing our weekly Talk to the Tape segment. Sorry it's a day late. Was doing some of the stuff I wanted to write about with the Randy Fichtner hire, some of the coaching change, changes that I'm sure you've heard by now. Richard Mann retiring, again, Fichtner coming in for Haley, speculation about who's going to replace Mann, stuff like that. So this is coming out a little bit later than usual. We're going to talk about today. Again, we're going to keep it brief because I know probably people don't want to hear about the Jacksonville game, but bottom line, talk about the X's and the O's in the scheme and all that's important, but the Steelers just got beat at the line of scrimmage, especially defensively with the Jags run game and that physical five guys up front. So we're going to talk about that today, look at some of the things where the Steelers just got their butt whooped. And you don't win the line of scrimmage, it doesn't matter about the schemes, the other stuff, you're not going to be successful. So we're going to jump into our first play here. Jaguars' first drive down near the goal line. And what we're going to hone in on here is LT Walton. I don't have an official snap count yet, but Walton got a lot of play time in this game. I think because Hargrave had that bad back, and Walton just seemed kind of overmatched in this one. I think Walton's done a nice job against the run overall, but watch him here on this combo block. The left guard just take him off the center there, finish. Your nose tackle gets blown off the ball like that. That's obviously asking for some trouble. So again, watch it here. I'll even go slow motion the next time through. Not a huge run overall. Didn't necessarily impact the play. Goes for a couple yards. But that's certainly pretty ugly. So let me try to slow this down here. Okay, good combo block. Walton knocked off his feet. Center finishes it. Throws him to the ground. That just setting the tone. This whole first drive, I thought, for Jacksonville was them setting the tone, saying, we're going to come today and hit you. And the Steelers just did not have a good enough answer. Hargrave, again, with a bad back, didn't make much of an impact. Tuitt was pretty limited, and Hayward was, invisible, which is so rare for him. No tackles, no hits. Again, no sort of impact in this one. So Walton gets blown out there, and Jaguars just, again, setting the tone in this one. Our next play here, I think it's going to come off the bend interception. The Fournette touchdown, I believe this is the one. Actually, no, I don't think this one is yet. It's going to be the next one. Again, Jaguars setting the tone early in this one. Not going to talk about too much in terms of, the initial play, but everything afterwards, and you'll see it here. I don't have to really say much, but you get a pile up. You get Vince Williams meeting Fournette in the hole. Williams is a little bit high, but you're just seeing the physicality, and Fournette's getting another 5 yards after contact on this one. Again, right here, I'll show from the aerial view, he gets stopped initially. You got 9 Steelers in there, and you get the Jaguars still getting a push, and, getting, again, 5 yards out of it. It's tone setting. We're going to be the more physical team. That's what I talked about with Jacksonville, was that this is a team that has an identity. They're a physical offensive line. Although Fournette hasn't been fantastic for them the second half of the season, he's still falling forward after contact, and that line's just being physical up front. So, you look at that, that's just setting the tone and sending a message that, we came here to beat you up, and that's what happened. So, Fournette gets stopped around the 30-yard line, and then the pile just keeps on pushing, and he's down around the 36, 37-yard line, I think. So you get an extra 5 or 6 yards out of that, and that's just... That's an offensive line's dream right there, where they're sending that message again, saying, we came here to play, you guys clearly didn't, and we're going to make you hurt for it. So that's that. Again, it doesn't always have to be the most detailed X's and O's. Sometimes it's just, football, the old cliche, blocking and tackling. And the Jaguars did a great job with their blocking schemes, again, true to their identity, and just, beat the Steelers at the line of scrimmage, and everything after that was gravy. So play here after the bend interception. We'll look at Bud Dupree here at his left outside linebacker spot versus the tight end, Mercedes Lewis. Just get taken to the ground, off his feet, not competing, out of his gap, out of his run fit. And again, not a tackle. Mercedes Lewis is a really good blocking tight end. He's basically what he's become in his later years with the Jaguars. But that's an ugly rep. I posted this one on Twitter, I think, on Depot yesterday. But just to the ground, creates a space for Fournette to run through. Some other issues on the play, yes. Vince Williams probably doesn't scrape over the top quickly enough. He's worried about his run fit to the inside and is a little late to getting over. So I get that, but we're not talking about the X's and O's and all the run fits here. We're just talking about guys getting their butt kicked to the line of scrimmage in that physical tone the Jaguars set. This has all happened in the first quarter, and again, sending that message of we're going to wear you out. So by the fourth quarter, you're gashed, you're tired, you don't want to really be physical, and the linemen, they don't like anything more than having a run block. So they're in their element, they're playing to their game plan, and obviously, had a lot of success on the ground. Two more to look at in the second quarter now. One guy we highlighted that struggled, I know Daniel Valente had a good article on this yesterday. I believe this play was in here. In his article. I don't remember 100% sure, but if you missed it, you can check it out again here. Sean Spence taking on the center to the second level, just can't get off the block. As bad as the defensive line was, whenever the line maybe held the point of attack and weren't carried to the second level as bad as in some other instances, linebackers just weren't getting off their blocks. And Sean Spence, I thought, had a particularly tough game in that regard, in coverage as well, but just couldn't get off a block to save his life. So looking at it here, and the funny thing is, and it's a little hard to see from this angle, I'll slow it down, is that L.T. Walton gets called for holding on this play. He's holding the center, trying not to let him climb to Spence, and Spence still can't get off the block, and Fournette has a big run until Mitchell cleans it up. So, Walton's a little tricky with that. He's actually been called, I think this is the second time this year he's been called for that hold. So I think the refs kind of are on to him by now. It's pretty rare for defensive lineman to get called for holding, but he holds the center. Spence still can't get off the block, and it's a big run for Fournette. Again, these plays you're watching Fournette, he's not creating a lot. He's not breaking a bunch of tackles. It's just the lanes are already there. The line's doing their job. They're creating that gap, and Fournette's hitting it with burst and finishing some plays. So Fournette, has had a great rookie year. A lot of promise with him, but I thought it was the line that beat the Steelers Sunday rather than just Leonard Fournette when we talk about Jacksonville's ground game. So one last look at it. Pretty bad. Definitely pretty bad. And then the last one, I think this is shortly after, it's a couple plays after. Again, we're going on Sean Spence. Again, trying not to pick on him too much. I guess a tough spot he was in, coming in off the street, missed a good chunk of the season, was hurt, got released by the Colts, but man, it was tough. I mean, he showed small improvements in the regular season after he first got thrown into there, but this Jacksonville game was rough. So again, left tackle Cam Robinson, down block on him, washes him out of the gap. It's a great pancake by Robinson, and it's an 8-yard gain for Leonard Fournette. So out of the run fill, a little split zone action here with the fullback. Well designed, give Jacksonville credit, but just getting washed on this one, absolutely. And Davis, misses the tackle in the hole as well as the alley defender. Fournette did a nice job creating there, but Davis got to make that play. So that was the other thing, with Fournette, they weren't getting hats to the ball carrier. They were getting only one-on-one tackles. And because guys weren't getting off blocks, guys were on the ground. And so that creates that yards after contact and Fournette falling forward every time because you're only getting one tackler there. Fournette's a big guy. You got to get multiple hats to try to get him down. And so it was bad. I'll show you one other play, I think, coming up here. It's not being down physical. It's just the Steelers not defending the run well. If I can find it. I think it's actually the very next play. It's a 3rd and 2. Yeah, that was a 2nd and 10, gain 8. This is a heck of a play by Vince Williams. This should have been a touchdown. They get the fullback here, Poland, and it's the fullback and the running back versus Vince Williams. So again, you get the split zone action. Watts held by kind of this zone read because Bortles was kept it before. So you get the fullback Poland, Vince Williams. This is the scene right here. If this fullback's square, it's probably a touchdown. But Williams does a nice job here of being able to get off the block and make the tackle before Bohannon, the fullback, can get there, make the tackle. Still goes for a first down because again, only one hat to the football, and Fournette's able to fall forward every time. So he hits him around the marker, Vince Williams does, but because Fournette's so big, he's able to spin off of it, get a gain of 4. Try to look at it from the aerial view one time. I think they got to get to the 7, around here. Vince Williams hits him around the 7. If there's another guy there that can prevent Fournette from going forward, he might get a stop. It'd be really close. But, it's only Vince Williams there. Fournette's able to spin forward and pick up the first. And I believe Jacksonville gets a touchdown here. So again, just not playing the run well. Guys not getting off their blocks. Vince Williams saves it here, but just another example, coming across on the fly. And yeah, they score 2 plays later. So we'll show that, I guess, because why not? Just we'll show it once or twice. So that's what I want to talk about. Again, I know talking about this Jacksonville game is not very fun, but you're looking for just some of the basic reasons why this team lost. The Steelers were not the more physical team. They did not control the line of scrimmage. They got their butt kicked. Guys didn't get off blocks. Some of the run fits were poor. Not enough hats to the football. Too many yards after contact for Leonard Fournette. That's a recipe for disaster. So really disappointing way to end the year, of course. But that's how that goes down. Vince Williams also gets a concussion on this player. Tested for a concussion. He came back in, gets hit pretty good by I guess it was Watt that came in, but that's totally random and not important. And he came back, so I assume he did not have a concussion. But anyway, I wanted to show you guys that Steelers just getting beat up, and that's football 101. If you played at any level, I'm sure you heard your coach talk about that. Pretty basic stuff. Steelers failed. And that's why they're sitting on their couch as Jacksonville plays New England in the AFC Championship game. Let me know your comments below, whether you're watching on YouTube, Steelers Depot. Follow me on Twitter at Alex_Kozora. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.